40 minutes?
Well, we're up here in Bemidji, and we were lucky enough to get to do a dinner with the Rail River Folk School, and we chose to do a springtime influenced Ojibwe dinner, 4-course, so it's very modern in concept. I'm only using just the original traditional indigenous flavors that are out here, so everything on the menu are pieces that we can find in this region in particular. So I'm just using pretty old school Ojibwe style in flavors and ingredients, and I've kind of mixed them up in a modern sense to kind of create some fun plates out of it. I'm just kind of waiting on stuff to cook. That's some Leech Lake hominy. This is just rendered duck fat. These ones are rose hips with marshmallow root. This is white corn mush. These are kidney beans cooking. This will be a cedar and maple iced tea. It smells good. We're making some wild rice flatbread.
That's good enough?
Yep, looks perfect. Toasting some pine nuts with some maple sugar.
What are those going to go in?
This is on the salad course. I think the concept of Native American cuisine is something new for most people in America, unfortunately. So it's unfortunate we have to reintroduce it, but it's also a great time and place. I think people are really open to locally sourced foods, wild foods. Everybody's understanding more and more what they're putting in their body, why it's important to eat organic foods and support organic growers. So I think overall it's a great time and place to have this food movement going on with myself and other people who are working really hard on trying to reintroduce Native American foods. Moving along pretty well today, that's for sure. I think with this project I've been working on for the past few years of pushing forward with really trying to figure out what modern Native American cuisine is and how to sell it to the general public. Really going back through history, really pulling off a lot of just what geographically based items we have in certain areas. These are rabbits that are just stewing down in cedar.
Now, is this dish, cedar and rabbit, is that a traditional Ojibwe dish?
I know that cedar was used as a seasoning and flavoring for a lot of stuff, and it's something that's easy to do. And cedar's, got a lot of purposes as far as just the flavor aspect of it, making teas out of it, burning it for religious purposes. It's a pretty special one in general. So I couldn't say for sure, but all of these are traditional flavors and ingredients, and I would imagine something like this was similarly done because it's such a simple style of just cooking it down in water till it's going to be nice and awesome. Cedar, just the smell and the aroma. I mean, it's all around us right now at this moment. Like, it's pretty awesome, and I think it's just a great match with the rabbit because it's just rabbits aren't really gamey like a lot of game, so I think it's a nice kind of tender, delicate meat that the cedar will really help kind of bring all around flavor. This is Trevor. He's helped us before with some dinners here, and it's just fun to work with him. This is rendered down duck fat, so this is basically like duck chicharrones. So I just broke down the ducks, took all of the fat off of them, and just let them slow cook in their own fat. These are the gizzards that I let cook in the fat also, and the hearts. Ducks and geese are great for getting the fat off of them. You probably almost get a cup of fat per animal off of it. So these naturally rendered fats like duck fat and some of these animal fats don't have the high heat content as some of the oils that we're used to. Some of the nut oils work out pretty well on high heat, but it's just more delicate, and there's a lot of times, it's just more seasoning, and a little bit of fat goes a long ways, really, so it's used as more preservative. All this is still new. I'm still constantly learning as I'm going right now, I'm just trying to take all the flavors that we have, and I'm not using any outside ingredients. Anything I can use, my pantry exists with what's around me and what's in the regions that I'm talking with. So since I'm specializing with Sioux and Ojibwe foods in particular, it's just all the foods that were within this Great Lakes region, pretty much all the way out to the Black Hills, maybe even out to the Bighorns at that stretch. But there's a lot of flavors in between there. I think just getting people to understand what these flavors are first off, then they'll start to really understand what the whole thing is about, to realize that there's so many flavors in our geographical area. And since I'm specializing in just the Sioux and Ojibwe, I have quite a big range of foods to play with between Black Hills, Bighorns, all the way out to the Great Lake regions here. Since I'm up in this region in particular, and the Anishinaabe are here, I'm using their flavors from these forests. Like I said, everything on this menu can be found within a 1 mile radius at this point in time. If you wanted to go out and find all these flavors are right here. Yesterday we got up early and we went to see what we could find for fresh foods. We were lucky enough to find a few wood shelf mushrooms. They were a little bit immature. They're going to turn into lobsters pretty quickly. So in about a week, those mushrooms are just going to blossom into huge, like reddish and white mushrooms. So they're going to be pretty cool. So we're a little early on them, but the ones we have are going to be some nice pieces. And just a bunch of little fresh greens that we can use on the plates. Looks like our flatbread worked out pretty well. So it's going to be a little bit of maple and cedar iced tea. Pretty refreshing. Kidney beans. All right, so then next we're going to start the cornbread. I'm going to get that recipe out for us real quick. This is a little bit rose hips and fresh marshmallow root. We're going to make a glaze out of this. Marshmallow root is a really cool plant, usually grows in the swampy areas. One of the best uses for marshmallow root that's been around for a long, long time was to turn the root into a poultice. It would basically, if you had a wound, it would clot the blood immediately and to stop it from bleeding right away. So it's just one of these like amazing plants. If you're out there and you get stabbed in the side or something and you're Rambo, you can find some marshmallow root, grind it up, slap it on your wound, and it'll stop that bleeding. It's really cool. But in a culinary sense, it's a thickener. You can actually make natural marshmallow out of marshmallow root just by cooking down, grinding the root down into a powder, cooking it with water, sugar, and bam, just cook it down into a thick substance and it'll solidify into a nice spongy. It won't be like the commercial style air-induced marshmallows that we know of, the foam-induced ones, but there's plenty of recipes out there for a thick, creamy, all-natural marshmallow just using marshmallow root. Well, we're getting pretty close to the dinner side of stuff, really. All the pieces are almost done except for cornbread, but that one I'm going to do on site. I think we're good to go. Pretty much knocked it out. All right. Let's go over this menu real quick because it's going to be a lot of fun. My first course is a wild rice flatbread, smoked duck, and forest mushrooms. And this is just going to be a fun, small first course. This dinner in particular that I'm working on today, for me it's just a lot of fun. I get to play heavily with my plating concepts. Hi there. I get to just try and meld some of these flavors together to see how they work out.
This was